live at IFCO-TV again. I am Bryn Gillow, your co-host with
Hahn.
Yay. And we now have our rock star guest for the morning. Well, we've had a lot of rock star guests already this morning.
Absolutely.
I can't take that away from them. But now we're here, of course, with the legendary, the kind of a big deal,
It's true.
the master of selfies, Liam Schubel.
Well, thank you, Bryn. A very short introduction. Of course, I could go on. I heard that you had my daughter, Dr. Mary Ann Schubel.
Yes.
Do we have to get close to this, by the way?
No, you're good.
We're
You can
good.
just
Just
sit
like
back
this is
and
fine?
talk.
Okay.
You're good.
Good, because my forward head posture is getting out of control.
You should get adjusted.
Thank you. Yes, I will.
And
I'm
have
going to
some
get
fish
checked.
oil.
I'm going to get checked and get some vitamin D3 and fish oil. Yes, so Bryn, as you were saying, an incredible lineup of people this morning here at New Beginnings in the People's Republic of New Jersey. I think my talk was one of the most incredible talks
Last night? Yes, I
of
agree.
the weekend. And I think it was impactful. And the reason why I think it was so fantastic, if I could say, was it clarified things. You know, and I got to tell you, there's this idea many times that the IFCO is hate straight. It couldn't be further from that. IFCO is focused. And that was the title of my talk last night was...
We are love straight.
We're love straight. And what is the focus of chiropractic, right? Because some people would say the focus of chiropractic is wellness. Well, if you go down to the pharmacy here, what are you going to see? Wellness shots, wellness this,
You get
wellness
your
that.
CVS wellness
Sure.
card.
Take your that kind of a thing. So, if you're in the marketing industry, you want to have a very specific and focused message. You don't want to confuse things. Wellness is something that everybody's in. Health, is chiropractic about health? Health is something everybody's in. I talk medical health center, right?
Right.
How about restoring life? Do you know any other professions that restore life?
No.
Well, chiropractic does. So why don't we latch on to a message that sets us apart from everybody else? Why don't we latch on to a message that is crucial to the transformation and evolution of the planet? And what I love about IFCO and their message is exactly that focus. You know, the mission of the IFCO is to make sure that every human being on this planet has the opportunity to express their lives optimally. Because chiropractic, when we detect, analyze, and adjust vertebral subluxation, chiropractic is a profession that liberates the optimal expression of human life. We come on in, get your life restored to optimal. I mean, it's like the greatest thing. Are you expressing life optimally? Go get a check at a chiropractic office. That's where we want to move the puck to. That's where we want to draw the attention to. That's where we want to center the focus on. It's the objective of chiropractic. And so that was what my talk was about yesterday, and I certainly enjoyed it. There's no one I love hearing more than myself, as you could tell so far, Brent, this morning.
No, but seriously, you did a fantastic job of making that very clear, and in a very loving and an inclusive way, because this is what we all want.
Listen, you got that
every
right.
single person that is here, and most likely every single person that is watching, they want to be able to check children. They want
Yes.
to be able to check the whole family. They know that subluxations are a detriment.
That's right.
And that we cannot be fully ourselves. We are not fully alive if we are subluxated. And you just did a great job.
Thank you. And you know, Bryn, you make a great point there. The challenge that we've had in our profession is this. There was kind of like the profession, we were almost at the point, you know, we had the Wilkes case, remember when we were illegal in the United States? And then it was brought out that the AMA, the American Medical Association, had an organized system to try to shut us down and eliminate us. Contain and eliminate chiropractic was the terminology that the Supreme Court used of the United States of America. So we got through that hurdle, but get this, that set us up for insurance equality, this third-party paying system in the United States. And once we got into that, that was the beginning of, you know, the sleeper sickness that the chiropractic went into, because that was the Wilkes case was in the 70s. Then we got insurance equality. 80s and 90s for chiropractors, financially, were phenomenal. As a profession identity, completely destroyed what it is that we know. So in 80s and 90s, the profession made a lot of money doing very unethical things because they brought in this primary care physician status, and they brought in this idea that we're somehow responsible for diagnosing and treating disease. And And that's not what chiropractic was ever about. Yesterday I alluded to the green books, B.J. Palmer's whole thing. And, our profession, you hear it so often that there's many people in our profession who want to focus on thoughts, traumas, and toxins because that's mentioned in one of the green books, and D.D. Palmer talked about it. Well, I got to tell you, if you actually read the green books, there's 49 volumes, 41 volumes, 2 of which have not been reprinted. So there's 39 volumes you can actually get your hands on and read. And I'm talking, these books are this thick. Do you know if thoughts, traumas, and toxins were important to the Palmers, wouldn't you think it would be laden with references of, hey, listen, we've got to do this. And you saw yesterday in my talk, I opened up 1950. Okay, this is towards the end of BJ's life.
Right.
There's no mention of thoughts, traumas, and toxins in a book this thick. And as a matter of fact, he talks about vitamins in there, and he says, have you heard the argument that people take vitamins because the soil is poor? Right? And I hear that all the time. No, you got to take vitamins because the soil is not what it was. And they were using the same argument in 1950. And BJ's talking about, listen, this whole world is artificial that we're living in. If we're talking about civilization, if we're not just roaming the earth, hunter-gatherers, well, then we're not living a natural life, if you want to think. But the great thing about innate intelligence, something that we push under the rug and we don't talk about, the great thing about innate intelligence is that it can take that artificial life, the artificial things from outside, and create something natural and wonderful for the body. It's the innate intelligence when you're alive that allows your body to adapt to the environment.
Exactly, it adapts.
And chiropractic's role is restoring or reconnecting the 100% innate intelligence, mental impulses with the organ systems in the body. And I think that's the greatest thing that we do. There is nothing wrong with nutrition. Nutrition is fantastic. We are certainly not for drugs, right? But we're also not a profession that bases our focus on we're against something, right? We're not against, of course we're against drugs, but that's not the primary focus of our profession to be against drugs. The primary focus of our profession is to detect, analyze, and adjust vertebral subluxation to allow the optimal expression of life. And that's really what we're about. And the more I read the green books, the more I realize that, number one, our profession was very advanced in the 1950s, and we've actually devolved. Do you ever hear that argument? Hey, you guys need to evolve your thinking. No, we don't. We need to actually get back to how great we were.
Yeah. Right.
And so we've had this sleeper situation going on for the past 20, 30 years, and I think this is the generation that is going to restore chiropractic to its original greatness. We're going to restore that intelligence to the profession that we were known for, worldwide. Chiropractic spread throughout the world because of the separate, unique, and distinct opportunity and focus of chiropractic.
Love that.
Thank you.
I think Frank had a question that came in, right?
Yep, absolutely. A couple of people asked questions. If you have questions for Liam Schubel and you want them answered, get on the chat box or hit us up on Twitter, hashtag IFCO.
And the chat box is directly on our IFCOChiro.org page, correct?
Correct, absolutely.
Right underneath it, right under the video stream.
Right below the video is the chat box, and ask away. So Liam, you feel like answering a couple questions?
I would be happy to, Frank.
All right, let's go with the first one. The first one comes from Ron Sweeney.
Oh, Ron.
Oh,
hey, Ron. Nice to see you.
I understand Dr. Schubel is masterminding chiropractic world domination, spreading and reaching of chiropractic through Central and South America. What's coming down the pipeline for CQS and IFCO?
Great question, Ron. I've got to tell you, Latin America is exploding right now with opportunity in chiropractic. And last night I had the opportunity to speak to a group of students, mostly UQTR, but there were some Northwestern students there. I'm sure there were Life and Sherman students there as well. And we were talking about international opportunities in chiropractic, and we were talking about actually being a pioneer and that pioneer spirit in chiropractic. And if you give me a second, I want to get on Facebook here and get a quote that I have from B.J. Palmer. This is
Take your time.
Yes, this is a very I think appropriate quote to the topic that we're talking about. And B.J. Palmer is actually referring in this quote to that pioneering spirit, and here it is. This is what B.J. Palmer says about a pioneer. There is this about a pioneer. He is a man or woman of courage and vision in the community. Timid people stay home. People who live in the rut do not venture far. The pioneer has the vision to see regions and the spirit to conquer them. New regions and to conquer them. B.J. Palmer, Green Books, Volume 32, Chapter 18 in the Book of Green. And so there are people probably watching this right now that are saying, you know, and probably chiropractic students that are going to be watching this and saying, you know what, when I get out of school, I'm going to go to Pennsylvania, I'm going to go to New Jersey, and I'm going to set up my practice, and that's the whole story. And that's awesome, and it's phenomenal. When I was in school, the challenge that I had, I said, you know what, I definitely want to do that someday, but before I get into an area in a community and I'm set there for 20, 25, 30 years, and I get into that fishbowl, I kind of want to get outside of this fishbowl we're in, experience what life has to offer, see what the opportunities are around the world, and then come back and settle down, if you will. And we saw that last night with the students. There's a lot of students that are going to be looking for these opportunities to take chiropractic to a place when you explain chiropractic in Latin America, it's the coolest thing because they're not enamored with the medical system. Right. They actually say, you know what? Why would I go to? This is what they say. I'm not saying this is correct thinking, but that's what they say. Why would I go to an MD when I can just go to the pharmacist, cut out the middleman, right? Like I'm paying the MD when I could just go. If I want drugs, I just go to the pharmacy and get drugs, right? The pharmacist knows all the counter interactions, knows what you take this for, what you take that for, and everything. So there's not this tremendous like esteem for the medical profession in Latin America.
I like that.
And when you explain chiropractic, it's almost like, well, of course, you know. Well, obviously, doctor, that's how it works. You tell them, look, there's your spinal column because of stress or accidents or golpes or caídas, you know, this is the Spanish part I'm talking about, enchuldigency, you know, that kind of stuff. It causes these bones to move out of place in the spine, put pressure on the nerves, and cut off the life force from the brain to the body. So obviously, you would want to get that system checked to make sure it's connected. And I'm telling you, they go, that is phenomenal, doctor. We've never heard that story. It's so obvious. It's so painfully obvious. How long are you going to be here? Because I'm bringing my whole family back to get that checked because we don't have these kind of specialists. You know, they look at chiropractic. We don't have these kind of specialists. What kind of specialists? You know, the life connection specialists. We don't have those here. We're so happy you're here, doc. And that's what the students, the most exciting things I see on the mission trip. You know, Bryn and Frank, I operate a mission trip down in Peru with a very low self-esteem. It's called thebestmissiontripever.com, right? Because we try to keep things humble. And the funny thing about it is you watch a student fresh out of chiropractic school or in chiropractic school, and on the first day of the mission trip, they're like this. You know, there's a line of 1,000 people waiting to get adjusted, babies, old people, young people, and everything. And the student is like, you know,
that's how I was on my first day.
There you go. They're like, oh my God, they're overwhelmed because number one, they're scared. They've been taught fear. You know, somehow like the chiropractic profession is the stroke profession, right? Which is completely ridiculous. They have insecurity in their adjusting skills, so they're fearful, they're uncertain, and they're frankly not even sure if they should have been chiropractors in the first place. They're doubtful on what it is that they're even doing. So you say, they're like, doc, what should I do? What should I do? Should I do a straight leg raiser? And I'm like, it's a baby. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing over here? You know? And so just adjust the baby or adjust whoever it is. That's it?
That's it.
Well, what else is there? You know?
Nothing else.
Like this? Yes, like that. Do that. Right. Yeah. Good. And you watch and it's like, okay, didn't die. Good, not paralyzed. You know, okay, good. You know, like you watch that mindset fold. They're like, wow. And you watch them go, wow, that's pretty cool. Wow, that's neat. Wow, look at this. And you watch their whole posture change. Wow, this is fantastic. Well, 2-3 days in, they're going, hey, we got to get over to the hospitals and get these people out of here. You know, like, you know, they come back completely changed. And many times they say, doc, I learned more about chiropractic in 7 days than in 4 years of chiropractic college. And that's the tragedy of our educational institutions right now is we're really, in many ways, training people to be successful in an insurance-based environment, which doesn't exist anymore. So, you know, we've got to do some restoration in our educational institutions. But the mission trips and being a pioneer are some of the best ways to kind of open up your mind.
Because, I mean, schools train here, but chiropractors come from here.
Yes.
So that's where the mission trips.
Yes,
can access
and I would say this, Bryn. Chiropractic, being successful in chiropractic is really about knowing how to communicate it. And communication comes from up here, right? Thoughts are things. You know, I was telling yesterday the story about my children, and I was looking for light bulbs in the house. And I said to my son, I couldn't find any. I was like, son, where we keep the light bulbs? I can't find any. And he goes, oh, Dad, just think of something, and one will appear over your head. You know, this idea that thoughts are things. So thoughts are important. You talked about it. The connection is important. You know, they studied in marketing. People make decisions not based on fact. They make decisions in their life generally not based on fact. They make it on emotions. Think about this. McDonald's. I'm loving it. You know, what are you loving? The heart disease or the cancer? I can't figure out which one.
No, the crazy clown that comes with it.
The crazy clown that comes with it. I love the German, the crazy clown that comes with it. That's fantastic. Really nice. I'm getting even more excited now. So, you know, McDonald's is, I'm loving it, right? The drug companies, right? They have pictures of people having a great time and spending time with their kids because the drugs allow them to do that, right? They break your heartstrings, and then underneath it's saying and stroke and anal prolapses and everything else, and you know you're going to die and da 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 da. But emotion is so important. So you got what you think, how you feel, and how you connect with people, and then what we have too is the ability to deliver the goods with that specific scientific chiropractic adjustment. And the way we express it, the voice, how we communicate it. And, you know, communication is an art form. And what amazes me many times about chiropractors, you know, I work with chiropractors all over the world, and I have 18 offices, so we're constantly training, and we're constantly working on mindset, and we're constantly working on communication. What amazes me about chiropractors is the love, and people in general, how they love shiny things. And that's kind of one of the things I talked about yesterday with focus. Where's the focus, right? They love, oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. It's not this. It's, you know, they're attracted to the shiny things. So you give a chiropractor some kind of wacky machine, they love it. You know, you give a chiropractor some kind of crazy technology, they love it. You talk about communication and mastering your communication. I don't have any time for that. You know, I'm not interested in investing in that. And I think you saw that with the seminar that I did.
Absolutely.
Like, I have people that 30, 40 years in practice, they're like, oh my goodness, I never knew that there was so much I didn't know about communication.
May I plug your seminar here
please
for a minute?
Please do.
Okay.
Please do.
You might be too modest
Humble.
to
Yes,
talk
I'm humble
about
to do that.
Mm-hmm. It was the Schubel Systems seminar that I attended. A one-day seminar, and I have never been to a seminar where after one day I walked out and I walked back into the office on Monday morning. I started implementing things just by the way I talked to people, just by the way I looked at people, the way I stood next to people, the way I placed my hand on them. And I could tell the difference from the first day on. It was, yeah.
Well, everything we teach.
It was the best day I spent.
Thank you. Everything we teach in that seminar, Bryn, has been studied. I mean, I'm a sicko as far as
why reinvent the wheel when
right.
you've already done it?
Well, here's the thing. We videotaped interactions for years, and what we wanted to see was the neurophysiological reaction of a person when you say this word versus this word. And there's a whole other study of neurolinguistics, how what you say affects the nervous system and other. So we took years of developing these scripts of, if you say this, this is the reaction of the human being. If you say that. So what we want to do is create an environment where everything is geared towards them making the correct decision. And the correct decision is getting your whole family under care. The correct decision is referring people to your office. And so you want to set people up to succeed. You want to set people up to make the correct decisions. And the tool to do that, which nobody invests in, is communication. It's the number one factor. Right. The number one factor of success when I'm working with associates. You show me an associate that can communicate chiropractic effectively, I'm going to show you somebody who's tremendously successful. The person could be a hatchet man as far as adjusting. A lot of people think it's the adjusting skill. Now, I think that's very important. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. But I've seen people that practically hit a person in the head with an anvil and then do it again for the next person. And they have tremendously successful practices because they know how to communicate chiropractic. On the other side, I've had people that when they adjust me, I'm like, oh, I just saw God, you know what I mean? And I'm like, how could this person's waiting room not be packed with people? and then you watch them try to express chiropractic, and you go, I get it now. They've never spent any time with that. So, going back to Ron Sweeney's question about the development of chiropractic in Latin America.
Oh, that's right. That's where we came
That's
from.
where we're coming from. We have scheduled for 100 offices in the next 5 years, in total, what we're going to have.
Wow.
So listen, when I first came to Peru, I was working with the largest asparagus producer on the planet. This guy's, if you go to Walmart and you get asparagus, that's him, right? I mean, he's all over the place. And I asked him, I said, what's your limiting factor to your success? And he said, water and land. He goes, if I can get enough water and get enough land, I can keep expanding. Everybody wants asparagus throughout the world. He says the expansion of China and everything. I would say with chiropractic, it's the same way worldwide. You want to put offices? I could put 100 offices tomorrow. I have the finances to make it happen. But here's what I don't have. Here's what the limiting factor is of expansion. In my 18 years of interviewing chiropractic students, this generation of chiropractors is the weakest generation I've ever seen in my life. It's the me generation, right? And listen, Bryn, you can't be successful in chiropractic if it's all about you. The success comes from the service. It becomes from making you a phenomenal product of service, a delivery system of phenomenality, a fantastic expression of what chiropractic is. People will flock to that. The challenge that we have as the students are getting out, it's all about me. And look, we're in a service position. The more you serve and the higher quality of your service, it's two things, quality of service and volume of service. That's your key to success. It's not about you, it's about them. It's not about you, it's about them. So this is why I'm actively involved in the educational institutions, because we got to change this. I mean, this is insane. We're graduating people that don't know how, they don't know who they are, they don't know what they're doing, and they don't know why. So how could you be successful with those three key factors not being addressed? And one of the things that I love about working with associates in Latin America, we with our expansion program, we have associate positions, and we call it chiropractic commando training, really, is what we do. We train them, Bryn, in the Schubel system. You had it for a weekend. These people are, the associates are with us for a year. And we're going in and out, and we're videotaping their performances, I call them, day 1, day 2, and day 3. And then we're going over it with a fine-tooth comb going, look at that. Did you see the way the patient's body reacted when you did that? Let's change that. And and it's like amazing. I love watching, just how, okay, Frank, what's your favorite time of the week when you're taking care of people? Let's say, is it adjusting people, or is it actually telling the chiropractic story, if you had to pick a favorite?
If I had to pick a favorite, sharing chiropractic.
You know what? Every chiropractor that I talk to that's passionate about what they do says the same thing. We love adjusting. Don't get us wrong. Yeah. It's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. But what we love so much about doing that report, telling the chiropractic story, it's the light bulb.
Right.
It's watching a person go, oh my God, no one ever told me this. How come I was never told this? This is phenomenal. I just learned the secret, and then they want to tell other people if you're doing it right. That's what I love about working with associates. Watching these kids come in scared, not knowing what the heck's going on, who they are, what they're doing, or why, and watching the transformation from a child, really,
right,
to a man or a woman, saying, I own this now, authentic. So that happens during the course of their year there. Also, they're learning Spanish. After a year, you're fluent in Spanish. And guys,
highly valuable.
It's highly valuable, especially in North America right now. The fastest growing demographic in the United States of America is the Latino population, is the Spanish-speaking population, and chiropractors not serving these people, and they're dream practice members, because what we talked about, they're not enamored with the medical system. Mm-hmm. They're used to paying cash for their services, and they have extensive social networks. And what that means is, a person comes to you, Jose Lopez, you adjust them, their body does the work, and they get better. Jose brings in 40 freaking people to the office. They have these, and they say, no, you don't go to the 100 doctors on the way to Bryn's office. You go to Bryn's office, because Bryn loves us and can help us. And that's huge, docs. We got to get back to what you talked about, that connection, that love connection. If I could quote Chuck Woolery, right? We got to get back to this love connection. There's two things that any practice member need to know when you come into that office. Do you love me, and do you care about me? And I have to tell you, again, with the me generation, they're losing that key aspect to success.
Right.
the people that come into our office have been cut on, burned. They've come into a medical office that's cold, uncaring. Do you have insurance? Does your insurance cover that? That's the first question you get in a medical office, right? And sadly, in some chiropractic offices, it's the same way. We got to be different, folks. We've got to be different. One of the things that made us great, I remember watching a Reggie Gold interview with a medical doctor, and the medical doctor said, "Oh, you chiropractors, the only reason you're so successful, get this, you ready? Here it comes. It's because you just love on people. You just love your patients." Oh, really? Is that a
We
bad
went to
thing?
school for that.
Right. I took a lot of courses in how to love people, So that's kind of what makes us separate and distinct, believe it or not. I asked my brother, who has a successful practice in New Jersey, I said, "Brian, why are you so successful?" And he says, "You're not going to believe the answer. Because I give a crap." He said, "That's why. I actually care about the people that I'm serving." And he said, "That's unusual." He goes, "Because most people, most chiropractors, because of this insurance age, they're looking at Andy Robertson, they're going, Cigna, 12 visits, They're looking at Frank, they're going, Aetna, 8 visits. They're looking at Bryn, they're going, Medicare, get out!" I'm joking, I'm kidding around. Calm down, we're all good here.
Disability.
Disability, right. But you get what I'm saying, is they're looking at people as dollar signs. You can't do that. Sid Williams used to say, you got the giving, loving, serving hand, and you got the business hand. Now, you can't ignore the business hand, right? But one hand can't see the other. Your practice member cannot see. When I go into the office, finance is not an issue. I don't care. It's not even in my mind. I have 2 sides of that paper. The one is the financial. I don't look at it. Now, would I look at it on the off? For sure, because we have a business. We have to run the business financially. But when I'm with that practice member, business is not in my mind at all. It's loving, serving. It's I love you and I can help you. Done.
Right. We have another question.
Great.
All right. Another question from Twitter. Guest 795.
Oh.
So he's in Europe right now.
Yeah.
He or she is in Europe. And they're asking, what's the best strategy to promote LACVS over in Europe? Or what do we need to do to promote that? Seeing that many of the schools are not sending out the right type of chiropractors.
That's a great question. And I tell you, I've been over in Europe, and Europe is a very challenging place to speak, Bryn. You people. Not you. You broke them all.
Broke out.
But you know what it is there's a lot of misconception. And a friend of mine who's also an IFCO member, Scott Jackson, he's attending the Anglo-European Chiropractic College right now. And he sent me some of the curriculum in the philosophy. And do you know what they think about straight chiropractors or about principled chiropractors or about vertebral subluxation center chiropractors? They're being taught that what we think, Frank, is that chiropractic cures everything. You got cancer, I'll give you an adjustment, guaranteed cancer's going away, right? That's what they're being taught. So let me tell you, is that crazy? That's crazy, right?
Crazy.
Like, that's totally nuts. That's not what our message is about at all, right?
Definitely not.
So I get the fact that when I get on stage, they're like, okay, here comes Billy Graham, the born-again Christian, going to try to convert us. They think what we're talking about is like a religion, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah.
You know what? You go talk to Chris Kent. Ask him if it's a religion, okay?
Yeah.
Go to subluxation.com and look all the research that backs up this religion that we're talking about. And I'm being facetious here. But Europe is a real tough nut to crack because you've got to get past that preconceived notion that we're spiritual religionists, something that way, that chiropractic is some kind of belief system. It's not a belief system. It's fact. Get over it. Okay? They keep thinking, well, we need more research. I think that we do need more research, okay? But not the research you're thinking about back pain and neck pain. We need more research showing. Heidi Havoc, the head researcher at New Zealand College of Chiropractic, she took her chiropractic research that she was working with athletes, showing improved outcomes in everything. Reggie Gold used to say this, get adjusted, you know why? Because it affects everything. It helps everything. It helps your emotional, spiritual, physical life completely. Heidi Havoc proved it, right? So she proves it. She goes over to Scandinavia, and she's working with neurobiologists. And the neurobiologists see the research, ready? So this is not a religious group, okay? They see the research on chiropractic, and they go, this is what they say to her. Oh, my God, they didn't say, oh, my God. They took the God out, right? They said,
Oh, my.
Oh, my. Oh, my. And Schubel can see, oh, my. We've got to get this to people with cancer. This is what they say. They say, if correcting vertebral subluxation, according to the research, improves every aspect of your functioning, My goodness, people with cancer need all the help they can get. We wouldn't want people with cancer to be subluxated, right? And then you take the next leap. We wouldn't want anybody to be subluxated, right? So you got to get over this. The research is there. It backs us up. Do we need more? Yes. But don't wait until we get more research to start talking about all the research. I mean, we're talking 100 and something years of research. There hasn't been one study that shows anything that we do is not true. Because believe me, if it was that case, we would have been shut down years ago. All the research continues to prove what it is that we do is phenomenal and it's cutting edge. We're the Wayne Gretzky's of the world. We're skating to where the puck is going. Now you got to get on board and be a leader. You got to get on board and be a pioneer. And how do you pioneer something? You got to get a mindset, which is what we're talking about. And this is why the IFCO is so crucial. You got to start coming to these events. Bryn, you and Frank, you guys were at the IFCO summit in the Dominican Republic. And it's like, why do we get together? It's because it strengthens our convictions. It strengthens our understanding. It strengthens our ability to communicate chiropractic. So, Mr. Europe 7654321, you got to get on board. Join the IFCO and start going to these events. I got to tell you, the UCA just put on a phenomenal. The UCA is the United Chiropractic Alliance. They just put or association. They just put on a phenomenal show in Birmingham. I'm going to be speaking there next year. Ross McDonald puts on a phenomenal event called the Edinburgh Lectures. I'll be there in June speaking. Mark Hudson, Chiro Europe. I mean, they have like 700, 800. They're probably going to go to 1,000. You got to start Tony Robbins says, success leaves clues. If you want to start being that leader, well, then you got to start hanging out with the leaders and start thinking and talking like a leader in chiropractic. And the way to do that is get yourself educated. The way to do that is join an organization that's primary focus is getting LACVS out to the planet and developing communication strategies to get LACVS out to the planet. So great question. And I expect you to be signing up with the IFCO today and start getting involved because we need you. Listen, the people of Europe need you. Let's get moving here.
You brought up the global summit, and quite a few things were happening down there. You were speaking on TV and radio all over the place. Peter Morgan had a mission trip going in Dominican Republic and Haiti, and it's things like that that are going to bring chiropractic to the rest of the world and help make it successful, like what we're talking about today with the vision and the mission of IFCO.
Frank, you're getting me real excited. Bryn, I've got Farvernugen, okay? I mean, Farvernugen. I've got the Farvernugen. And I have to tell you, Farvernugen, I'm excited. And you should be too, because it's not a question of if. You know, principles always rise to the top. It's only a question of when. You see, chiropractic world domination is imminent. There has been numerous, multiple, double-blind, random controlled studies that have shown that chiropractic world domination is imminent and resistance is futile. The principle will always rise to the top. The question is, if you are man or woman enough to step up and make it happen. And this is what I'm so, I was all over the television. I was all over the radio down in the Dominican Republic. Again, every single person I talked to, they started out going, okay, they think it's a massage. They don't know what's going on. And so they give me these little 2-minute blocks. Like, if the guy stinks, we could pull him off quick. And every single one of them apologized for giving me so little time. And when can you come back, Doc? If you talk chiropractic, it should be exciting because it is. You're talking about life. You're talking about there's nothing bigger than life. You're talking about the expression of life. So I want to give the folks that are listening in right now or watching right now a tip. How we're going to bring about chiropractic world domination is this. And Bryn, I know you get nervous when I talk about domination. I'm talking about domination not in the sense of I'm controlling you, I'm in charge of you, that kind of thing. I'm talking about the dominant thought process. You see, medicine is the dominant thought process. That's why we're considered by many alternative healthcare, right? Okay, so alternative healthcare, what that means is medicine is normal, so I should drug myself, inject myself, and cut myself. After normal doesn't work, then I go to the wacko alternative, which is restoring life. We don't want to do that. That could be dangerous, right? So that we've got to start talking and acting in congruency and acting as if we were already the dominant healthcare strategy for the world. And here's the way you do it. Do you know how the pharmaceutical industries have made themselves normal? They send research articles and they convert them to press releases. You want to know how to write a press release? Here's how you figure that out. Google, how do I write a press release? Okay, that's how simple it is. And somebody from Stanford or Harvard in their communications department will tell you exactly how to write a press release. So now what you do is you go to Matt McCoy has a research journal, the Journal of Vertebral Subluxation Research. And you could contact me, by the way. By the way, I have 5,000 friends on Facebook, folks. I'm really a big deal. I can't accept any more friends on my personal Facebook. Sorry. Okay, but I do have a fan page, and you can get on that. Okay, it's Dr. Liam Schubel, Chiropractic World Domination Brilliance.com, something like that. I don't know what it is. But go on the Facebook fan page and connect with me. Go on my website, www.schubelvisionworldwide.com, and connect with me. And I will connect you with some communication strategies. I will connect you with people that provide research. Dr. Matt McCoy has this Journal of Vertebral Subluxation Research. And here's what you do. You do a subscription to that journal. And what you do, Matt sends you, Dr. McCoy will send you the latest research. And people that say, oh, we don't have enough research. We got tons of research, and we need more. But it's coming out every single week. And Matt will send it to you. Dr. McCoy will send you the research. And then you take the research journal, so it's like chiropractic and kids, chiropractic and asthma, chiropractic and headaches, right? Our virus database has been updated, so we're good, right? So chiropractic and this, that, and the other thing. You convert that to a press release, and then you find out in your community who are the gatekeepers of communication. Who's the king of radio? Who's the king of, and what I mean with the producer, who's the producer for the radio programs, for the television programs, and for the print media. And here's what you do. You ready? You take your press release with the latest research in chiropractic, and you send that off to the producer. It used to cost me money to do that, because the only way to do that would be putting a stamp on the thing and sending it. Now, they got fax. What does that cost? They have, you hear this thing, Frank? They got this thing called email, right?
Yeah.
You can email these people. How much does that cost, the emails?
Zero.
It's zero, right? So you do this. And now don't expect the first time you do it, oh, well, come right down, Bryn. We'd love to have you on. But what's going to happen is, you see, here's the thing. You got to create that this thing is normal. So as they receive this research, at first it might be, oh, that's weird. The chiropractors are sending research. But after a while they go, oh, okay, they're sending me this all the time, so it must be normal. And then what happens is, the producer will have a kid with headaches, in their personal family, and they go, oh, this is a great topic, because it's great for them. We got on because of the SARS virus, right? We sent in an article right when the SARS virus was like the big deal, and everyone's wearing the things in the airport, and everyone's interested. How can you, improve the function of your immune system? Well, the nervous system controls that. So if you're subluxated, your immune system's definitely lowered. We have scientific studies that show it. So we sent that information in, and they were like, it was like the coming of Christ. It was like, oh my goodness, this is phenomenal. I can't believe this is, that this research is out there and these people don't know about it. This is a producer talking. I can't believe this research is out there and the people don't know about it. The people that listen to my radio and television program, they need to hear this. Could you come down and explain it, Dr. Schubel? Yeah, I can do that. Absolutely.
I can.
See what I'm saying? You change the paradigm by changing the way you think, and change the way you act, and change the way you communicate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's super important.
It's super important, and I'm so excited about the IFCO, because this is what we're all about. It's not just pie in the sky talk, folks, and it's not hate straight. Okay? It's not this idea of, oh, you do nutrition? I hate you. Right? Oh, you have physiotherapy in your office? I hate you. That's the old hate straight paradigm that didn't work. Okay, the new paradigm is this: hey, whatever you do in your office, that's your business. But here's the one thing that I hope that we can all agree on as chiropractors. Okay, that locating, analyzing, and correcting vertebral subluxation is vital to the planet. It's crucial to the transformation and evolution of the planet. And you as a chiropractor, whatever other stuff you're doing in your office, if you're telling the chiropractic story and you're adjusting people, then bienvenido al bordo. Okay, welcome aboard. It's time to get together on this and take over the world with TIC.
Awesome. Have time for one more question?
Yes, I certainly do.
So you speak all over the world. Who's the next biggest deal coming up through the ranks?
Wow.
Wow, now this one must be for you. This is Bryn's favorite person on the planet, other than me. Yeah, you know what? We had the pleasure this weekend to see Danny Constable. Danny Constable out in Germany, really just came out of, like we all do, we come out of, he was for years working in his practice, doing a great thing. He's well known in his community, but wasn't participating in the international front. And boy, he showed up to the IFCO and he got involved. And I have to tell you, and Bryn will tell you all the time. Unfortunately, she used to talk about me all the time. Right now it's Danny this, Danny that, Danny. You know? Right.
I can
it's
speak
like,
with him in German, so that's
okay,
different.
so you got that going on, all right? And Schubel can see. Wo ist der Openplatz? Ist dort drüben. There you go. So anyway, Danny Constable is one of those superheroes. I mean, there's so many, Frank.
Yeah.
Andreas Soderstrom. You know, get this.
David Serio.
David Serio. But I got to tell you, Andreas, and I love every. By the way, the sad part about mentioning names is there's so many other names that you don't mention, and they're awesome too.
Michael
but
Dibley.
Michael Dibley. Thank Michael Dibley. Another thing, I call him the Oliver Stone of chiropractic. You know, getting the message out there in video format. But like just talking about Andreas Soderstrom and Danny Constable. They were just at DCS. They're going to be on stage at CalJam. So you're talking like a stage of 2,000-3,000 people. And I got to tell you, one of the powerful things, a lot of people have a problem with CalJam, for example. Oh, because they have, nutrition, or they do this and that. Listen, that's not the attitude we need to have. The attitude is this. They attract people from schools, folks, that are lost, that would never come to an IFCO event because, remember, we're the religious hate straights,
Oh, yeah,
right?
we're the freaks.
Right, we're the Freakazoids. So you get on stage at an event like that, and you flip the switch. You know, one of the things that Jim Sigafus used to do is go speak at Parker seminars. And Parker Seminars was famous for the people that they had on stage many times were freaking phenomenal, and they were great with chiropractic, like Jim Sigafus. Mm-hmm. But then off stage, they would have everything that wasn't chiropractic would be there for sale, right? And Sigafus used to go into that den, that some people would call the den of devils. I'm not saying this, by the way. I'm just telling you what other people would say. He would go in there, and I know so many phenomenal chiropractors that said, if it wasn't for Jim Sigafus coming in and talking to me, Joe Borio, for example, was at National, and he heard Reggie Gold come speak off campus, right? And if it wasn't for Reggie, if Reggie could have said, you know what, and Jim Sigafus, you know what, they're a bunch of mixers. I'm not going to get involved with them. Forget it. Hate straight, right?
Right.
No, they said, those people need to hear the message. There's a disconnect. There's a reason why they're not in the IFCO. It's because they think that we're haters. They think that we're some kind of religious freakazoid group. They think there's no scientific background to what we're doing. They think we're not evidence-based, right? They think all these things. The only way to change their thoughts is to get up on a stage and start speaking the truth. And so the powerful thing where I was going with this is CalJam has like 2,000 people, and they're going to have more every year. Billy DeMoss, IFCO member, he puts on a phenomenal show. And I've sat with students from Palmer College, which is losing its chiropractic more and more every day. I sat with students they said, oh my goodness, this was the greatest thing. I was so lost. And CalJam got me spizzed and excited about what my profession is. And I don't get that in school. It was LACC. By the way, some of the top chiropractic students on the profession, the biggest IFCO contingency right now is at LACC.
Wow.
So we could be sitting around going, LACC, they're a bunch of mixers. We're not going to... Well, listen. The king of Talk the Tick, the United States Talk the Tick competition, Brady Salcido, IFCO member, he just won. He won. He's from LACC. We've got some phenomenal student leaders here. They want what we have. Being hate straights would limit our opportunities to bring more people on board. We've got to be love-focused, and we've got to be centered on what it is that we do, and that's locating, analyzing, and correcting vertebral subluxation.
Liam,
huge potential.
Before we wrap up, let's just talk about it, because you talked about the students for a moment. Let's talk about the IFCO student chapter. Let's talk about how they're exploding all over at the chiropractic.
Well,
colleges.
you've seen it, Frank. We went from 0 to I think we're at like 18 different student organizations, and we're going to continue until we have complete chiropractic world domination in the loving sense. Barcelona, New Zealand Chiropractic College, AECC I mentioned, McTimony Chiropractic College is on board, and then think about almost every chiropractic college in the United States. Those students on our board, and they're here this weekend at New Beginnings, a lot of them. Again, these student leaders are dynamic. These student leaders are recognizing that maybe what they're being taught in school is not necessarily, in total, preparing them for success in the outside world. And the resources that the IFCO brings to the table with, I mean, Frank, you were very generous. You donated probably the best spinal screening method that I've seen on the planet. You know, Frank's not kidding around. He goes on a weekend, Bryn. He signs up 100 people on the weekend to his office. Okay, and by the way, not with gimmicks, not with grad bags and this. It's with pure chiropractic, and again, being able to explain the value of chiropractic with communication. Nobody does it better than Frank, and Frank just goes, "Oh, people need this? Here you go, free. Donates it free to the IFCO student members." And we have.
How can they access that?
Yeah.
Just go right on the IFCO student chapter page, and they'll connect you with it. Yep.
And that's the thing. We have some of the most successful chiropractors on the planet that are involved with IFCO. If you look at who's who on the chiropractic circuit today, 90% of them are IFCO members. And the ones that aren't, it's only because they don't know yet. They're all coming on board. So the question is, how long are you going to wait until you step up and say, you know what? I'm talking about being the change that I wish to see in the world. Maybe I should actually be the change that I wish to see in the world. And the way we do that is by taking action. So get online, www.ifcochiro.org, and join us. For students, it's only $50 for the whole thing. I mean, Frank,
and the whole year afterwards. The first year in practice is included.
It's insane. You got to be in.
Liam, when I was chit-chatting with folks on Facebook leading up to this event, there's a lot of the IFCO student members that are going to be watching that couldn't be here this weekend. So how can they connect with you? Because I know you'll be having some associate positions soon.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. How can they connect with you?
They can go on my website, www.schubelvisionworldwide.com. www.schubelvisionworldwide.com. And also, again, go on my fan page, like that, and you'll have direct communication with me. I'm like one of those guys that actually answers my own email. So,
and you do so very quickly.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, well, it's because it's vitally important to me. You know, when I wake up in the morning, I can't wait to get to work, because we really, folks,
I sometimes wonder if you actually go to sleep for you to be able to wake up, because it seems like you're on that constantly.
Well, you know, we have a saying, chiropractic world domination never sleeps, because now with the friendships and the relationships that I've established throughout the world, it's almost like as one group of friends are going to bed, another one's getting up, and we start communicating. So, I mean, this is the thing. The internet has made all this tremendously possible. We got to take advantage of it. So if you want to get involved, you want to really start making a difference, we can plug you in. We can make it happen. Just get connected with us. Again, www.schubelvisionworldwide.com. You can go on the IFCO, get connected there. And, you know, one final thing, I would say support the principal schools. You know, we've got Barcelona Chiropractic College, McTimoney Chiropractic College, New Zealand Chiropractic College, Sherman, Life West. You got to start plugging these schools. It's so easy to say, hey, do you like to help people? You know, you do? You'd like to help people? You know, you might make an excellent chiropractor. Mm-hmm. Consider this, and here it is. Boom. And I got to tell you, you're doing that person a favor by can you imagine not being a chiropractor? I mean, it's like the greatest life on the planet. Yeah. You know. So, and if it's not for you, if it's not the greatest life, then you got to learn the tools and skills to make that happen. And that's again, getting connected. It all starts with a phone call or with an email, and that's how we make it happen.
Right. I know we're going to wrap things up now. Liam and Joe Borio are going to close out the show later on at 4 o'clock. So this was awesome, phenomenal.
Thank you.
If you want more of this, come on back at 4 o'clock. But before that, we have Patty Giuliano.
Oh, wow, that's going to be great.
We have Kevin Jackson coming up.
Wow, Kevin Jackson. Oh, I love him.
Yep.
He's going to be great.
So that's going to be right after lunch
and
in
Judy
an hour.
Campanelli.
Mm-hmm.
And Judy Campanelli,
Let's not forget about her.
Yep.
What time is Bono from U2 getting here?
We're not sure if we can fit him in.
Okay.
But we're going to try our
That's
hardest.
true. You can't fit him in. You got Sam Salimo in there.
No, he's already.
Oh, he already did that?
We have
Tarantino's been on, right?
Patty, Kevin, and Judy, and then you and Joe. Yep.
Yeah, I'll call Bono and tell him, forget it for today.
Next time maybe.
Okay.
Spot is
all right,
full.
good.
All right, guys, that's it. We're going to lunch. Have a great day.
See you in a little bit.
We'll see you in about an hour.
Peace out.